Hey, what's up everybody? This is Nick's video. Just like the hoodie says, shout out to the Padre, and you're watching Skooled. Today I want to talk about Native American history, but probably not what you're thinking about, like the teepees, the headdress, the war paint. In fact, not a tribal existence at all. That's a big misconception, actually, that all Native Americans lived a tribal existence. I mean, many did, but many didn't as well. Many lived in large kingdoms and empires like the Maya, the Inca, and the Aztec. But today, I'm going to talk about two other Native American empires that you've probably never heard of. And one of them existed right in the heart of America throughout the Mississippi River Valley. Mississippian culture was not tribal, but a collection of kingdoms. From as far northwest as Michigan and Wisconsin, as far northeast as the Ohio-Pennsylvania border, as far southwest as eastern Texas, and as far southeast as northern Florida. But its largest city was Cahokia in modern-day Illinois. They reigned from around the time of the Viking era to as recently as the early 1600s. They had no wheel, no horses, but they had the Mississippi River, the third largest river on the planet. They used it and all its tributaries to speed up communication and trade. Trade was very common throughout these great cities. They left behind copper, wood, and stone artifacts, but they seemed to use seashells as a type of currency. They did leave behind an undeciphered kind of hieroglyph on those artifacts. But the most impressive things left behind are their earth mounds. They seem to serve many purposes, from mass burials to religious temples. And although only the base of one of the pyramids still stands, it was larger than the biggest pyramid in Giza, Egypt. And they're right here in the Midwest of the United States, in the form of partial pyramids to the mass serpent mound in Ohio. Without going to Greece, Egypt, or China, you can see the ruins of former walled cities and kingdoms that were connected through sprawling suburbs in one of the largest river systems on the planet. Mississippians in Ohio could get fruit and alligator leather from northern Florida, while Mississippians in Alabama could get copper from northern Pennsylvania. They existed in relative peace, and trade seemed to be more common than war. The next Native American empire that I'd like to talk about are the Nazca of western South America. The Nazca lived in the driest desert in the world, the Atacama. There's some parts of the Atacama that ain't rained in 50 years. In fact, it's so dry, it's the only place on the planet that you can drive at night and bugs won't hit your windshield because it's as desolate as the surface of Mars. So it makes you wonder, how did the Nazca survive, let alone build an empire? Well, the Humboldt's current runs up the western coast of South America, coming from Antarctica. Well, this cold current is some of the richest waters in fish, squid, and shellfish on the planet. So even though they didn't have a lot of agricultural land, they had a lot of seafood to eat. Although they did farm corn, squash, beans, and peanuts. And even though it almost never rained, they excavated underground canals. The Nazca did some crazy stuff by today's standards. Like the ancient Celts, the Nazca warriors were headhunters. They would behead their enemies and drill a small hole through their forehead so that they could be carried on a rope. They would also bury beheaded people in what they called a half grave. They would bury the body and place a ceramic jar where the head should be with a face painted on it. And some people would even grow plants out of the jar. Nazca shaman would do cocaine and a hallucinogenic cactus and sacrifice guinea pigs and llamas to one of their many gods, such as the killer whale god and the spotted cat god. They did build mound pyramids which still stand for religious and ceremonial purposes, but they're best known for the lines they created, not the cocaine. They created huge lines in the desert ground, some as large as football fields. At first it wasn't clear what they were, but when seen from an aerial view, it was clear that they were giant pictures. It gets weirder. There were pictures of dogs, spiders, monkeys, yamami. But really, all these pictures of these animals looked pretty accurate. And then there's this one. The Nazca called it their owl god. Now, I do believe in extraterrestrials. I try not to jump right to the supernatural, but with this picture of their god resembling an alien so much, combined with the fact that they made giant pictures in the dirt that could only be seen from the sky, that's my conclusion. So that's it for today. If you like what you heard, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the closest person to you. This is Nick's video. It's another episode of Skooled. We'll see you soon.